Buonasera, buonasera a tutti, bentrovati. Eccomi qua nella mia prima streaming, live streaming, la mia prima diretta. La scorsa settimana ho cercato un po' di provare a fare la diretta, ma sono una beginner, come si dice qua nel linguaggio di YouTube, quindi non ero ancora autorizzata. Però finalmente sono qua e sono molto felice. Avrei voluto farlo esternamente, ma non ho potuto perché oggi pomeriggio ha deciso di piovere, però sono felicissima di iniziare questo così, meno di un'oretta insieme. Sono molto contenta. I'm very happy. I know that lots of people was waiting for this moment, so now I can. I don't know how many people. This is my first time, so let me see what is all the settings here. But anyway, today has been a very, very busy day. You know, in Italy, Italian families are very busy yesterday and today because we are going to prepare the big celebration of Easter holiday that is tomorrow, Sunday, and this year the 4th of April. And I cooked a lot. I also did a video. I invited one of my friends, he's a chef, Gianluca Conti, and we did some recording, some videos outside, showing you in my next uploaded video what do we do, what Italians prepare, you know, the most typical recipes of Easter. So Easter is absolutely one of the most important Christian Catholic celebration. After Christmas holiday, Easter holiday is really the beginning of spring, the beginning of life again, and is a celebration of resurrection of Jesus Christ. So it's a probably the most appreciated holidays. And but first of all, you know, I don't know how to speak in English or in Italian. I know that lots of Italian friends probably are connected, so let me talk a little bit in Italian just to let hello to my friend. Ciao ragazzi, finalmente sono in diretta, finalmente ho inizio questo ciclo di dirette alle 7 del pomeriggio di tutti i sabati. Avrei voluto farlo fuori, ma come sapete molto bene sta piovendo oggi pomeriggio e quindi sono qua. Mi dovete sopportare un po', non mi fanno lavorare e quindi mi dovete un po' ascoltare, qualcosina devo fare. E siamo tutti molto eccitati perché come sappiamo la Pasqua è uno dei momenti più belli, di grande festa, è forse insieme al Natale la celebrazione cristiana più importante dell'anno. Si celebra il Cristo risorto, un po' un risorgere alla vita. E indubbiamente per noi Pasqua e Pasquetta, appunto, che è il giorno del nostro picnic, è il momento più bello. Stiamo tutti preparando pizza al formaggio, stiamo preparando la curatella, stiamo preparando un po' tutto. Ma andiamo a vedere un attimo, ragazzi, anche perché tanti chiedono: ma quando cade la Pasqua? Perché la Pasqua cade continuamente in giorni diversi. Semplicemente dobbiamo aspettare. Leggendo la Bibbia, proprio ci viene detto quando effettivamente è la Pasqua, quindi il Cristo risorto è celebrato. Allora dobbiamo aspettare semplicemente l'equinozio di primavera, che cade tra il 20 e il 21 di marzo, aspettare la prima luna piena e l'immediata domenica successiva c'è la celebrazione della Pasqua. Ecco perché abbiamo sempre questo altalenare di date così differenti. È quella luna piena un po' monella che ci fa variare effettivamente la celebrazione della Pasqua. E così quest'anno abbiamo avuto appunto l'equinozio, abbiamo avuto poi quasi successivamente il plenilunio di marzo ed ecco che la prima domenica di aprile stiamo nella celebrazione della Pasqua. Così sappiamo, stiamo preparando tutto, anche io ho preparato i miei spangozzi, avete visto vado sempre ad asparagi, quindi ho preparato i miei spangozzi di asparagi, ci sarà la lasagna con la pasquetta, ci sarà la curatella con la cipolla o la curatella alla romana con i carciofi, quindi siamo tutti belli pronti per mangiare e celebrare. Ma adesso parlo un pochettino con i nostri amici diciamo dall'altra parte del mondo, che sono, come lo dicono loro, on the other side of the pond, dall'altra parte della sponda, e fatemi raccontare un po' loro di quello che sono le nostre le nostre tradizioni, perché sono molto interessati e mi piace anche raccontare della nostra bella Umbria, della nostra madre Umbria. Okay, I'm here. I just say hello to all my Italian friends that together with you, my American and Australian friends shared unbelievably, the connection with this YouTube channel, Daniela Materumbia. So I really thank you again. But now let's start to talk about Easter. Easter holidays, as you know, is probably the most important Christian Catholic celebration after Christmas time. So that this is really the moment of rebirth of nature, the resurrection of nature. So the resurrection of Jesus Christ, this new Son, and the celebration is on Sunday, is really the beginning of a new cycle of life. Do you know that during Roman time, the beginning of the year, dating back, March was the first month, so that here we are, and we are living this moment, this very delicate moment, with a passion, because the last year has been so hard for all of us. So here we all have inside this sense of liberation by these terrible conditions, life condition we are living. So probably the celebration of Easter, of this liberation, of this resurrection, is so touching in this time of our lives. So Pasqua is the name in Italian of Easter. Pasqua, the date of Easter changes a lot during the year, because as you know, we have to wait the equinox, the spring equinox. So according to the Bible, according to the Christian tradition, we have to wait the equinox day, that is in between 20th and the 21st of March. Then the first full moon, and the next Sunday is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is we can read this description into the St. Paul letter to Corinthians, that describe this moment, the passing, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, the passing, and the resurrection. So that a great resurrection after 3 days, Jesus Christ, rises up. So what is really the deepest in our deepest part? Again, the resurrection is that sense, that kind of sense of freedom that we need now. So I really hope that this Easter celebration is for all of us the beginning of a new cycle of life, because we feel so touched by the social distancing and this unbelievable, isolation. So the celebration is it's really a part of this new cycle. But what Italian families prepared during this time? Oh my God, you can't believe how crazy are now the preparation of Italian families for the big lunch that's supposed to be tomorrow lunch. So we are going to prepare lots of important traditional Umbrian recipe. The main recipe is pizza pasquale. Pizza pasquale, it's really such a very tasty bread, somehow made with yeast, but it is a very special bread. A very special bread that probably has origins since the 16th century. We have to go back a little bit into the centuries, and we have to arrive at the specific date of 1540. We are in a period, in a very particular, very hard period for Umbria, especially for Perugia town, because we are in front of a war because the Pope, Papa Paolo Farnese, that decided to decrease the value of salt, and this brought into a war, into a fight. People at a certain point that couldn't be able to preserve food. Salt was so important. Was important as gold in that time. Salt was important for the preservation of, for the conservation, preservation of food, of cheese, of fish, because lake fishes. Because here in Umbria we have one of the four largest lakes in Italy, Lago Trasimeno. So the nutrition, the foundation of nutrition, Perugia area was on fish food. So that that terrible fight, the war that really arrived to be such a very delicate moment for population, brought people into a scarcity. So how was possible to preserve food without salt? And here we are in front of the beginning of the unbelievable varieties of cheese, for example, that were preserved with so many other spices and ingredients. And and this is the beginning of preparation of bread without salt. In central Italy, when you are here, you will taste a kind of bread without salt, because of that kind of fight, that kind of contrast, the economical troubles, and that tradition is still alive. So, but for Easter, what was the main bread made with yeast? Special bread has a gift for this celebration is a pizza pasquale. So how special was this bread? People started to put into these ingredients of flour, of course, yeast, no salt because there was no salt, probably little pieces of prosciutto and cheese. Pecorino cheese, of course. Pecorino cheese is the main ingredient somehow of the pizza pasquale, that is a sweet pizza. Here we say pizza. Don't have the idea of the classic idea of pizza. Pizza here is something has been a lot lived, so that the living of this compass is really, really, really important. This is why in some parts of Umbria, pizza pasquale is also named crescia. Crescia comes from crescita, the growth. So the leavening of yeast, flour, eggs, milk, and pecorino cheese put in the oven. Then at a certain point, there is the leavening creating this growing up process. So the Crescia pizza pasquale is absolutely the most important food, the most important bread on our Umbrian tables. So this morning I prepared also, have you seen that I picked up some asparagus, wild asparagus, very early in the morning. So the preparation of a very simple recipe that is a strangozzi with the sugo di asparagus. Strangozzi, it's the most typical handmade pasta in Spoleto, very typical, but is well known all around Umbria. With so many different, sometimes different names, but the consistency of this pasta is absolutely the same. Strangozzi or stringozzi or strengozzi, so many different dialect names, means string, a long string. So this is the shape of the pasta. Strangozzi originally was made just with flour and water. We are talking about of more than 100 years ago when there was really poverty, so that there were not so many food. So that was a very, very typical family recipe: flour and water to make pasta. So the strangozzi, the preparation of strangozzi takes no more than 30 minutes. And then now is spring, so the period of wild asparagus. We prepare a very simple sauce, a tomato sauce with asparagus. So that is made with extra virgin olive oil, garlic, some chili pepper, a pinch of salt, and tomato sauce. We add together with the asparagus, getting soft. We boil for no more than 15 minutes, and in just 30 minutes or a little bit more, here we taste such a very spectacular pasta plate that is a strangozzi con sugo di asparagi, even because we want to celebrate the Easter Eve. But what about the lunch of Sunday? Sunday, the Easter Sunday. Oh, it's a huge celebration. Too much food, as you can imagine, and but we don't begin the celebration just for lunch. We begin with a breakfast. The Easter breakfast. It's something really crazy because it's a table so rich of food, mainly salad food, not sweet food, not cappuccino, not ciambella, not a cake, not croissant, but salami, for example, or hard-boiled eggs, or with a pizza pasquale and a glass of wine. Why this breakfast is so consistent somehow? Because we, according to the Christian Catholic tradition, it comes from 2 days of fasting. Fasting is the moment with no food. So for the strong believers, so the 2 days of fasting is a very particular moment of just praying, you know, with a very strong soul participation to the passing of Jesus' crucifixion, the passion, crucifixion, and then the resurrection. So after 2 days of fasting, as you can understand, that the breakfast allowed in the morning of Sunday must to be so rich in protein. This is why we have the famous Easter breakfast, la colazione pasquale, made with the salame, with the pizza formaggio, with the uova sode, with the hard-boiled eggs, with the wine. So this is really the beginning of celebration of life somehow. Then when the digestion is going, little bit better, a little bit better, we start with the lunch. And the lunch is again a little appetizer with a pizza pasquale and then salami, and or some eggs or hard-boiled eggs, and then we can prepare lasagna, we can prepare cannelloni, or we can prepare again strambozzi with asparagi, but the main course is the coratella. Coratella, it's not for vegetarian because it's so the coratella that is cut, in little pieces, is is cooked with wine, extra virgin olive oil, with some spices, mainly rosemary, and chili pepper, onions for the Umbrian versions, and artichokes for the Roman versions, for example. Then, if you want a little bit of tomatoes, and then we boil all these ingredients for more than an hour, and the taste is so rich and so typically a spring taste. And the coratella is really, really the final part. And the lamb, of course, is also remembering of the lamb sacrifice that was made, of course, during the Christmas ages. So this is, somehow the way to let you know how unbelievable is the table of Italian families during Easter time. But we also wait the next Monday, Pasquetta, the little Easter, and the Pasquetta we have a saying that is Natale con i tuoi, Pasqua con chi vuoi. Of course, Pasqua, so Easter and Natale, Christmas is the moment of a big family reunion, even here in Italy. But if this motto say Natale con i tuoi means Christmas time with your family, with your parents, Pasqua con chi vuoi, Easter with who you want. So this means that you can decide to stay with your family, but if you want, is also for with friends. And Pasqua for us is the beginning even of a vacations, the beginning of spring vacation. So here in Umbria, for example, there are so many tourists that come for the Easter vacation. It's generally a very busy time because it's the moment of celebration of life. So that to travel in this part of our life, remember that. But Pasquetta, it's really the most funniest, absolutely moments in Italy because it's the moment of the outdoor picnic. The outdoor picnic, it's a moment to stay with family, yes, of course, why not, but mainly with friends. So that we prepare, all the food at home, then we take all the stuff for an outdoor picnic, and we find the best the best places up in the mountains or close to a river, or in the countryside, or a beautiful kind of party in our beautiful outside gardens, and it's the moment just to stay together. And this year, we are still not living this kind of festivals of happiness, because anyway we are still living a little lockdown. But anyway, hopefully the weather will be good. We will prepare a beautiful lunch outside, and it's our way to just to celebrate. I don't know how many people. Let me see. Okay, so I see 8 people connected. I'm very happy. I cannot see where uh, we can chat. Let me see. Hi all. If you want to write to me during this live streaming, you can do it. So let's see. Let's see if I can do something. And these live streamings during the week so will be a description of a culture, of ambient culture, for all that people that cannot connected with me last week. I did just a small presentation of Umbria. Umbria, it's really, really such a spectacular green regions, probably the green heart, as you know, the green heart of Italy, because it's perfectly positioned in the center of Italy. We are not such a very large region. We are, but perfectly in the middle. Every time I have to describe what Umbria is, or talking about its history or culture, I say that Umbria has been always the Middle Earth of culture, because of the central position brought so many civilization to conquer this land during the millennium, and we are the final result of so many civilizations. But mainly, we are not so far from Rome. So the great richness and the great importance of Umbria is because of this famous 100 miles far distance from Rome. But Umbria has a very, very old origins, not Roman origins. So we have, great archaeological museums describing and showing great repairs of the pre-Roman age. In central Italy, there were 2 main civilizations during the third century, third millennium BC. And the 2 main civilizations were Etruscans and Umbrians. So they were divided by a river, the Tiber River. The Tiber River became somehow a geopolitical bordering between the 2 main civilizations. On the right river bank, there were Etruscan. On the other side, on the left side, there were Umbrians. That was a very long-living bordering, geographical bordering. But at a certain point, we are in front of the beginning of Rome and the Roman society, the Roman civilization that arrived starting from the 3rd century BC. We looked at the conquest made by Romans of these central territories. So that the Tiber River is one of the longest and most important Italian rivers. And in Umbria, we have the 3 main tributaries of Tiber River. One is the Chiascio River that flows in the upper west side of north and west side of Umbria. Then the Nera River that is located in the southeast part of Umbria. And all these important rivers, together with the Vino, that are, of course, as I told you, tributary, they connect with the Tiber River. So probably the main tributary of Tiber River is the Nera River. And if you're in Spoleto, just behind mountains, so we have the spectacular Valnerina, that is the most mountainous valley in Umbria, and that has been formed by the Nera River. So Valnerina means the valley of Nera River. So the Nera River is the 6th longest rivers in Italy, and it creates such a spectacular green environment of this area. So the greenery and the green part of the green vegetation, flourishing vegetation of this area is because of the unbelievable presence of rivers and waters. Because Umbria means also a land of waters, because of these rivers, the Chiasso rivers, the Clituno rivers, the Topino rivers, the Nera rivers, and the falls, the Marmora falls. You know, that are considered the highest in Europe. So not so far from Spoleto, just 30 minutes, 30 minutes by car, and it's possible to reach this important natural protected park of Marmore waterfall. So that is the connection, originally the connection of two main rivers, the Bellino rivers and the Nero River. So, but the Marmore waterfalls, it's not a natural, work, but this has been made by Romans. These are man-made work. But we are talking about of 3rd century BC. So now we are in front of a natural park with a very specific climate, with a very specific biodiversity, and it's really an experience that all enjoyed and all appreciate there. And it's one of my most favorite, tours that I propose. So we have rivers, falls, so we have springs. Close to Spoleto, there is also a place that is named Fonte del Clituno, that is the Clituno River Springs, that is a natural spring creating such a very unbelievable, beautiful lagoon, and this is the beginning of Clituno River that has been so important during Roman age. The Clituno River is a connection with the Topino, and Topino River is the tributary of Tago River. So all the rivers that flow here in the two main valleys of Umbria, connect with the Tago River. So water is really the secret probably of the rich vegetation you can find here. So that Umbria is a great opportunity for landscaping. Panoramas views are really incredible. Thanks to the presence of a very gentle landscape of hills, mountains of Apennine Mountain, that is the second main mountainous chain in Italy, creates the perfect place for all outdoor activities. And only in the last 5 years became really so appreciated by visitors. Umbria is not so well known as so many other Italian regions, but in the last years we looked at the very important increasements of services, of tourist services, but anyway, of the presence of tourists, and we are very happy for that. But there is a very strict regulation to protect this land. There are so many areas where it is no more possible to build. The national park is also protected areas, and is in the way to guarantee, of course, the great beauty of this land. What about the human settlements? Today we have so many enchanting and amazing and remarkable towns, very, very old towns. Of course, Umbria has two main provinces, that is Perugia, that is the most important. 75% of population comes from the Perugia province, and Terni. The capital of region is Perugia. Umbria has a population of about 870,000 inhabitants, and it's really a very important region because of its position. Perugia, for example, is a very important university city that has one of the oldest universities found in Italy, founded in the 13th century, at the end of the 13th century, beginning of 14th century. But we have other very, very precious town as well, Assisi, as well, Todi, Orvieto, Umbria, and Spoleto. That is, Spoleto is my hometown. Spoleto is, of course, I have to talk about Spoleto because of this town is giving to me, especially in this moment, a great the great opportunity to taste how fortunate I am. Because I cannot go outside the district, the municipality of Spoleto, but I can really appreciate so many secret corners that sometimes I never seen before. In the countryside, down the historical center. So Spoleto is one of the oldest towns in Umbria and has Umbrian origins. So we know that the town has been founded probably during 3,000 years ago. So we're talking about the first human settlement dating back during 10th century BC, where now there is a spectacular medieval castle was located probably Umbrian, the first Umbrian pre-Roman human settlement. And today this town is a spectacular place with so rich in monuments, very, very old monuments. And Spoleto is also a very rare case of a town that can show monuments starting from the pre-Roman age. So do you know that during the centuries we always are in front of the several stratification of urban layout, so that sometimes one covers the other one. But here in Spoleto it's possible to see the pre-Roman walls, of the Umbrian walls, close by the castle, so in the upper part of the hill Colle Sant'Elia, and then all the Roman stratification with so many monuments, such as the Roman Theatre, that is one of the best example of Roman architecture into the town, that is also one of the main stages of Spoleto Festival. And then important medieval monuments, such as the spectacular cathedral titled Santa Maria Assunta, that is really, really an unbelievable example, one of the best, one of the finest example of Romanesque architecture in Umbria. The Piazza Duomo, where there is the cathedral, is a great example of a medieval urban layout. And the Piazza Duomo is also well known for the final concert of the Spoleto Festival. So lots of pictures describing this very special final moment of celebration of art, because the festival is really one of the most interesting appointments here in Umbria. The Spoleto Festival generally starts the last Friday of June till the second Sunday of July, and it's an explosion of art. It's a celebration of art. It's been founded by Maestro Menotti, who who about 64 years ago decided Spoleto to be the place of the beginning of this dream. He had a dream. This master, he was not native from Umbria. He came from Lombardia, but he migrated at the beginning of 1900. He migrated with his family in Philadelphia, and he lived there for the rest of his life. And he had a great opportunity to study at the prestigious musical school Curtis. And he was in the New York City of 50s, when all the streams of the new contemporary art right to be the most flourishing art moment of USA. And he had a dream to connect the two continents, the old continent, Europe, with a new continent, America. So how? Just with a celebration of art. All the art must be showed. So this is why the first name of the Spoleto Festival was the Spoleto Festival of the Two Worlds. So the connection of these two worlds, the old history with the new history. But he didn't know what to do it. He didn't want to do the festival in a big city such as Florence, Venice, Naples, or Rome. So he decided for a small medieval town that was somehow an open-air stage, thanks to its architecture, beautiful architecture. And in central Italy, there were so many similar hilltop towns of Middle Age, with a Middle Age layout. And Spoleto was in competition with other towns as well, as well Arezzo, Cortona, and Torri. But finally, because of the invitation of Paolo Belli in Spoleto, Paolo Belli founded the Teatro Lirico Sperimentale at the end of 1800. Paolo Belli invited Maestro Menotti in Spoleto to show the beauty of this unknown town in that time. And Maestro Menotti was absolutely amazed by the beauty of this town. And when he was in front of the staircase, inviting to Piazza Duomo, knew what to do. Where was the great place to create this crazy dream? And this was the beginning of the festival. Talking about the pre-edition in 1967, and then the first official edition in 1958. So this year we are going to celebrate the 65th anniversary, and in the last year, so we looked at a very important participation of people, tourists, of artists again into the town. Spoleto right to be really a rich moment of art, all kind of art, painting, sculpture, theater representation, exposition, art gallery. It's really, really a majestic moment to celebrate art. So please remember, if you are thinking about an Italy trip, think about traveling Umbria during this very special 3 weeks. So the last week of June and the first 2 weeks of July. And you will really enjoy and appreciate the great magic moment that you can bring into the town during this time. So Spoleto is also so rich in museums. So there is a collection of museums that really can show the great care that during the centuries the local administration wanted to preserve the beauty and all the memories of this town. So first of all, the main museum is located into the Rocca, the huge temple, original temple construction, the Rocca Albornoziana because made by the Cardinal Gidio Albornoz. We are talking about the second half of the 1500s, the necessity to create a kind of military fortresses, a construction to protect and to restore the Vatican state bordering. So the castle is today the largest, probably one of the largest monuments into the town, located at the top of the hill Sant'Elia, and today houses the best and most important museum, that is the Museo Nazionale del Ducato. It's really a spectacular journey starting from the pre-Roman age with an exposition of very important stone inscriptions, sarcophagus, up to the Middle Age with a collection, very important collection of pieces of frescoes coming from the most important convent and monuments, of this area. So the main museum is the ones into the castle, but we also have the unbelievable well-preserved Roman houses. The Roman house is the experience of how many secrets this town is still, protected into its foundation, because the Roman house has been founded for a chance at the very beginning of 1900 by the local archaeologist Giuseppe Sorrentini that made this discovery, and thanks to him we can today admire probably what was one of the property of Vespasia Polla, the mother of the Vespasiano emperor. She was native from of Noccia, and because Spoleto during the first century, in between the first century BC and AD, Spoleto got to be such a very powerful Roman Senate. So the Vespasia Polla had a property, had an important domus inside the town, close by the main forum, the main public square of the town. So this discovery, and thanks to the precious well-preserved mosaics on the floor, testifies to the great richness of the Roman society in Spoleto. So the Roman house is another museum that I'm going to suggest to visit. Then we have the archaeological museum, and where it is also possible to accede to the Roman theater. The Roman theater is as I told you at the beginning, that the third stage of Spoleto Festival, the history of a Roman theater is a little bit complicated because what you will see is just one third of the original huge theater built during first century after Christ. But anyway, because such a very fortunate discovery at the very end of 1500, but unfortunately we were in front of a first destruction because all that stones coming from the theater in that specific medieval mentality were used to build the medieval wall, the third ring of fortification of the town. So that was the moment when the theater, the original theater, arrived to be quite destroyed. Then covered again with the soil, the construction of a convent close by that today houses the Archaeological Museum, the National Archaeological Museum. That is one of the richest and most interesting archaeological museums in Umbria, and is also absolutely worth to have a visit there. There is so let's talk again the Museum of the Castle, the Roman House, the Archaeological Museum, the Contemporary Art Museum, that is a house in one of the most beautiful noble palaces of Spoleto, Palazzo Collicola. There is also a museum, a little museum, but very interesting, of the old and medieval costumes. That is very, very interesting for the knowledge of textile production, noble textile production of this town. So there is also a card, a sort of a special Spoleto card that is possible, that connects all these museums with just 10 euros. It's possible to visit all of them, and it's really interesting how the Spoleto administration really involved all these museums in all, of course, events that we have into the town. So the Rocca Bonottiana is also sometimes the stage of important shows and exhibition during the Spoleto Festival, such as the Santa Termine, such as the Roman theater and the Roman house. So Spoleto is really such a very peaceful place. Here, a lot of my friends, like to come in Spoleto. They spend here weeks because it's really unbelievable, the connection of nature and architecture. So today, of course, I'm going to talk about my land. Next year, I'm going to show you a lot of pictures and videos because of Spoleto, but also many other important and beautiful ambient towns. So I really hope that this short presentation of Umbria has been good for you, and I also hope that you appreciated it, so that this will be a weekly appointment, a weekly meeting every Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. For Italian time. This will be the beginning of some talking and some meetings together. If someone would love to talk with me, I'm here. If not, I would like to wish you a very, very good Easter holiday, and I really wish you a great resurrection of your life and the rebirth of your life, and enjoy the life, and I love you, and see you soon.